بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك، وتب علينا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وتقبل منا يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم آمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم أخلص أعمالنا إليك وأحسن وقوفنا بين يديك ولا تخزنا يوم العرض عليك. اللهم آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, today, with the request of some of the sisters, they chose the topic. They want to talk about the heart, and specifically the heart that the same or the pure heart. The pure heart or the safe heart or whatever you want to interpret it came in the Quran in two places. Place number one, it came in the ayah of 84 of Surah Al-Shu'ara, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. In a day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating, in a day that no wealth and no children will be beneficial to a person except who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. Some of the books of the Quran, they interpreted Salim by sound, or they safe, or pure, whatever. I hope you can get to the meaning in your heart. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. The scholars said with this ayah, that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala negated any benefit from anything except for the person who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. What is the sound heart? This is the first place, this is one place came, Jazakallah khair. This is one place came in the Quran, in Surah Al-Shu'ara. There's another place in the Quran, ayah number 89 of Surah Al-Saffat. We will come to it inshallah. But anyway, so this is the sound heart or the good heart. The scholar have so many opinions about it. Who will have a sound heart? They said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Al-Baqarah, في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا. That some people, they have disease in their heart. When this ayah came in Surah Al-Baqarah describing those people who they have a disease in their heart, they were specified for Al-Kuffar wal-Munafiqeen. So some of the scholars then derived to the understanding is that the sound heart is the heart that is pure from shirk or kufr or nifaq. Okay? So this is one. Other scholars said, no, you could have a heart that's free from shirk and kufr and nifaq, but still will be no good heart, will not be a safe and sound heart. Because if there is kibr, arrogance in it, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the ayah of 35 of Surah Al-Zumar, يَطْبَعُ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ قَلْبِ مُتَكَبِّرٍ جَبَّارٍ, or the ayah. So here, the one who has arrogancy in his heart, he will not have a sound heart. Well, what's his arrogancy? What's arrogancy? Arrogancy, the Prophet ﷺ have defined it, where he said, Al-Kibru, غَمْطُ الْحَقِّ, غَمْطُ الْحَقِّ وَسَفَهُ النَّاسِ. غَمْطُ الْحَقِّ, somebody, sometimes you will be saying a lot of things, and you might be making a mistake, and somebody comes to correct you, you will reject. Because you're too big, you're too scholar, you're too famous, you're too whatever, you know. And so when somebody is trying to correct you, you don't accept it. How could somebody so little, correct me? So what you will do is you will refuse to accept the truth or to accept, whatever is correct and right. This is what they call it batal al-haq, that you reject the goodness and the truth. A lot of us, we made a mistake. We say something wrong. And somebody says or comes and said, you shouldn't say that, or this is wrong, or whatever. And so if you accept, I said, Jazakallah khair, I made a mistake, I'm not fallible, I'm not infallible, so you come back to the truth. And this is what we call a waqafun inda al-haq. Somebody, if he was corrected, he will be correct. He will correct. Somebody, or we have other people, they were trying to play games. I didn't mean it this way, I meant it this way, this whatever. They play around. Not to admit that they were wrong, and so will they reject the truth. Anyway, this is what we call it batal al-haq. Safahun nas, a person is arrogant, he looks down at people because of his wealth, because of his position, because of whatever. So this is arrogancy. So the scholars said then the second type of not having a sound heart is for your heart to have arrogancy. You have too much degrees, you have too much position, you have too much wealth and power and this and that. So what you do is you treat people, in a bad way. So that's what the scholar said. This is the second one. Wallahu a'lam. And some others, they said, no, the sound, the heart that it is not sound, the heart that is be happy, he enjoy, he becomes accustomed to the haram. So, some of the people, like, we don't want to give bad example, like some of the merchants, they sell their merchandise by making oath. Wallahi, this is a good product. Wallahi, 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 wallahi. They make that. And they become accustomed to it. So every time they make a sale or they make a profit, they find joy in their heart that I have accomplished something. So those people, they became accustomed to cheating or lying or whatever. Those people will not have a sound heart. Other scholars took this idea and rephrased it in another way. According to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. You will not be a true believer or true mu'min until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So those people, those scholars, they said, if you have the selfishness and you do not love for the others as you love for yourself, then you don't have a sound heart. You will not have a sound heart. You need to love for others like you love for yourself. Some other scholar debated the fact. They said everybody loves to do good for himself. If I have a chance to buy this one here for $10 and it's worth 20, I would like to get it. I don't want you to have it. It's nature. I want to have it myself to get the benefit for me. So they said this nature. So the first scholar said, well, let's then go back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and see how we can understand it correctly. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا يؤمن أحدكم. Does it mean if I love for myself more than what I love for you, that means I have no iman? Scholar said no. That's not the meaning. So then what's the meaning? He said you will not attain a high standard in iman. بمعنى, in other words, لا يؤمن أحدكم حق الإيمان. Here's the word in parentheses, حق الإيمان or تمام الإيمان. You will not get the high degree of iman unless you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Now, but this scale can go down. I might get 20% of iman because I love for myself more than I would love for you. And so on. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. So that's one. Other scholars said, this is the fourth meaning, that the sound heart is the qalb al-munib that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the ayah 33 of Surah Qaf, من خشي الرحمن بالغيب وجاء بقلب منيب. The one who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where nobody is seeing him, in al-ghayb, when he by himself, he fears Allah. Between him and himself, he fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will try and he will do the right thing when nobody else is watching. Because he fears Allah. He knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching him. So he will not do the haram when he is isolated. He will do the right thing when he is isolated. He only prays sunnah in the masjid. But when he is by himself in the house, he will not recite Quran, he will not make dhikr, he will not pray, because he would like to show off. But if he is alone in the house, and he is trying to do the right thing, and he fears Allah, this is what the word مَنْ خَشِيَ الرَّحْمَنَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَجَاءَ بِقَلْبٍ مُنِيبٍ. What is al-qalb al-munib? Munib min al-inaba. Al-inaba min al-rujua'. Munib meaning he will return to. Inaba, he returned to the right path. That's munib. That's inaba. Anybody who returned to something good, that means he made inaba. He is munib. So then the ayah becomes al-qalb al-munib, the one whoever made a mistake, he will immediately remember and return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making istighfar and making repentance. So this is al-qalb al-munib. If you do not have that part, to some of the scholars said, if you do not have qalb munib, that you will return to Allah every time you made a mistake, then you will not have a sound heart. Some people waste a lot of time watching TV. They don't get no benefit. They don't get nothing, just wasting time. Those people, after they realize that they have wasted time, they make dhikr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they make istighfar. They return to Allah. Why? Because you should not waste your time. Or you should be beneficial, because when you waste your time, you did not remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you did not make dhikr, you did not. That means you wasted your time, you wasted your life. Your life is your capital. You should invest it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to accumulate as much as you can from the good deed. So al-qalb al-munib, always return to Allah. What did I do? What did I say? What mistake I made? They return to Allah and they make istighfar. Okay? We cannot use our time 100%, all of us, any one of us. Even the Sahaba. No human being will accept the Prophet, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them. Everybody will waste his time somehow. And it is not haram. But the excessiveness of that, to waste your time all the time, not to be minded of your time, not to be useful of your time, that's the problem. But you could have good time, you could play with your children, you could watch good TV, you could go out for a picnic, you could enjoy yourself, you can cook, you can eat, you can laugh, you can joke, but all within the halal way. It is fine. But also do not forget your Lord. Do not forget your Rabb. Make dhikr as much as you can. So this is number 4 to some of the scholars. And then they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the word in the ayah, هذا ما توعدون لكل أواب حفيظ, the ayah 32, the one before of Surah Qaf, هذا ما توعدون لكل أواب حفيظ من خشي الرحمن بالغيب وجاء بقلب منيب. Some of the scholars said, no, the sound heart is awwab, hafiz. Awwab is like munib. Awwab آب إلى ربه عاد إلى ربه آب إلى رشده رجع إلى رشده. He returned to the right path. He went back there. Hafiz. Now the problem is here with the word hafiz. What does hafiz mean? It looks like most of the scholars who they came to this ayah, he said, this is the sound heart. The hafiz is the sound heart. What does hafiz mean? Hafiz means hafidha. He protect. He kept in a safe place. Or he did the right thing. Hafiz. If anybody from the Arabic who knows the Arabic, he can come up with a better word, help me, please. Okay? Hafiz, yahfaz, to keep with a protection. Keeping things with protection. If you have a diamond ring, you are hafiz. That means you keep it, you hide it, and you are protective of it. So they said, Awwab Hafiz, he returned to Allah, and Hafiz of what? They said Hafiz of 3 things. Hafiz, protective and keeping the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another word, he worries and he keeps and he protects the orders of the Sharia. Hafidun, he protects the orders of the Sharia by implementing them. Yes.
Could we combine them with knowledge, with ilm? Hafiz? لما سيدنا يوسف قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض
إني عليم. نعم. حفيظ عليم. Anyway, but to answer your question regardless, it could be, because when you protect your golden ring, why you're protected? Because you know it is valuable. So you must have some knowledge to protect it. Nobody protects something that's not good, unless he's foolish. That's not what we're talking about. So you are protective of the Sharia, and you implement the Sharia because you know it's the truth from Allah, and you know that it is the one that's going to save you and grant you Jannah, inshallah. So Hafiz for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hafiz for the rights of people. The right of people is very important. I would like to stop here. If I forget, remind me where I was in order for me to come back. Even though, what I'm going to tell you, the hadith, this particular hadith I'm going to tell you, it has about 4 narrations. And some of the scholars, they said those 4 narrations, they're not very much authentic. Al-Imam Al-Albani rahimahullah, he made one of them kind of authentic like Hassan. What is the story? The story is that the Prophet ﷺ want to go out, for traveling, or for some reason, maybe small battle or whatever, was trying to investigate an area. So he was going out. There was a guy, they had different name of that guy, and different reports, but forget about the name. There's a certain guy who is very poor. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I would like to go out with you, but I don't have any money. I only have, some horse to ride on, but that's all. I don't have food for myself, I don't have food for my horse, I don't have nothing. So the Prophet ﷺ said, ask those two people of Al-Ansar if they need somebody to serve them. You could serve them, and then you could sleep with them in their tent, and you can eat from their food. He said, okay, so he asked those two people of Al-Ansar. It could be Ansar or Al-Ansar, because one riwayah said Muhajirin, one riwayah said from Al-Ansar. But let's say two people from the Sahaba. He said, can I go with you where you feed me and take care of me and I serve you? They said yes. So when they traveled the first day, the second day it was hot. So they told this guy, he said, prepare the food. He was with them to serve them. So the guy went to prepare the food. He was tired. He said, I'll lay down for a while. So he laid down, he went to sleep. So those people did not find no food. So they came and they found him asleep. So one of the people told the other, he said, we end up with a guy who's lazy and he is na'um. He loves to sleep too much. So they woke him up and they said, you didn't get the food. Usually when they get the food, because the Prophet ﷺ had somebody to cook for all the Sahaba, so they need to go and get something. So they said, go to the Prophet ﷺ and ask him for some food. So this guy went to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya Rasulullah, so and so they need some food. The Prophet ﷺ said, go back to them and tell them that they already ate. And they ate what? He said, they ate meat. So he went to them and he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, you already ate meat. So they came hurrying to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, Wallahi, we did not eat anything from the morning. The Prophet ﷺ said, I know, you ate meat. You ate the meat of your brother. Because you spoke about him by being lazy and na'um. So you ate. Some of the scholars, like Imam al-Tabari wal-Baghawi, they said that this story is the reason for the revelation of the ayah, in Surah Al-Hujurat, the ayah, the beginning of it. أيحب أحدكم جزاك الله خير أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه. They said this ayah was revealed in that particular situation. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. But see, this is back to where I started with. Hafiz, that you are protective and implementing the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet. And also the second one is that you are protecting the reputation and the feeling of your other Muslim people or whoever they are. So you are protective of the people. You don't do ghiba, you don't do namima, you don't look at people down, you don't speak ill behind them, you don't chastise them, and you don't. All of this is the right of the people. So hafiz, this two. The third one is hafizun for yourself. You do the best. You do not waste your fara'id. You do not waste your dhikr. You do not waste your qira'at al-Quran. You do not. You do your always the best. You denounce al-munkar. You order al-ma'ruf. You do everything possible to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the word hafiz. The one who is hafiz and awwab is the one who has a sound heart. And that's what some of the scholars say. No. And Arabic, أنه يحفظ عهده مع الله ومع رسوله ومع الناس قريبهم وبعيدهم، يحفظ حق الله وحق رسوله وحق رسوله وعهد الله وحق شرعه وحلاله وحرامه وحق رسوله محبته وتقديره والإيمان التام بما جاء به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. All of this what I said in English, that you are protective of the order of Allah and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and protective of the people, and protective also of your promises, and you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't, and all of this. And, okay. And some other scholar, they said, this is number 5, he said the one who has a sound heart is the person, it is the feeling that you have inside of you. This is something nobody knows. You have something inside of your heart nobody knows. Are you fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you are by yourself, nobody is watching, you're not talking to nobody. Do you see the sustenance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you feel the ni'mah of Allah? Do you feel the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bestowed on you? Do you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you ask Him to keep the ni'mah on you? Do you ask Him to refrain you from anything that is wrong? Inside your heart, what's inside your heart? Do you have the love of Allah? You have the thanking of Allah? You have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you? Between you and yourself. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to show it off. But what is your inner feeling inside of your heart? You love Allah, you love the Prophet, you love the Sharia, you love Islam, you love the orders of Islam, you love your fellow Muslims, you wish the best for all the Muslims. Are you worried about the affairs of the Muslim? Is that what's inside your heart? Or you are selfish, arrogant, all what you care about is yourself? In other words, who are you? What do you have inside of you? The safe heart is the heart who has no nifaq, no kufr, no shirk, no arrogancy, is full of love. He does not have any hatred for the Muslim. He does not have any envyism. So this is what they call it, the sound heart. And so do you have that heart? You know yourself. So this is what the scholar Ridwanullahi alayhim said. And where did they get that one from? They get it from the hadith of Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, where the Prophet ﷺ said, سَبْعَةٌ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّهِ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. 7 type or 7 groups of people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the judgment day, He will put them under the shade. Now here's something we need to take a detour a little bit, talk about the shade in that hadith. That hadith had come with so many versions. Version 1, it says, سَبْعَةٌ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّهِ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. So does that mean the dhill of Allah? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a shadow, that means there is a light above Him to reflect His shadow. That, wal-iyadu billah, is not right. So if this is the hadith, which is hadith sahih and sahih Muslim, then the shadow here shadow of belonging. It is not the shadow of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, shadow He created on the judgment day. Well, there's a difference when you said, this is my arm or this is my water. My water, it belongs to me. My arm, it is part of me. There's a difference. We cannot, and this is what they call al-mulkiyah. This is mine. Mine, part of me. Mine belong to me. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ, that means it belongs to Him. It's like His book, His chair, His sky belongs to Him. That doesn't mean the shade of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, no. And another narration, also in part of Sahih Muslim, سَبْعَ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّ عَرْشِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That means the shade of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we make it clear. So there will be a shade on the judgment day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those 7 group of people, will put them, will protect them under His shade. Whether the shade of the throne or a shade that He created on the judgment day. What do we need out of those 7 group of people? 1. وَرَجُلٌ ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ خَالِيًا فَفَاضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. That's the person who has a sound heart. This is what I'm talking about earlier. When you are sitting down by yourself and you see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given you, Ya Rabbi laka alhamd, Ya Rabbi laka shukr. You know, you thank Allah. You are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Rabb, give me more. Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb. You return to Allah. You know He is the one who given you. You know He is the one who could take it away from you. You know He is the one who could increase it or decrease it. So you ask Allah. So you see that. And also you see the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of you being a Muslim. You worship Allah. You don't worship any idol. You don't worship any man. You don't worship any woman. You don't worship any object. You worship Allah. That's by itself is a ni'mah. You know, it's respect. You worship Allah. You are above anybody else. Anybody else worships somebody created, something created. You worship the Creator, the Almighty. This is dignity. This is self-respect. So, and anyway, and some people said, and a redundant now, he said, you know, فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. Some people said the person who has the proper hidayah, this is the heart that it is sound, القلب السليم, the one who has the proper hidayah. If you have the proper hidayah, you have the proper aqidah, if you have the proper understanding, if you have the proper belief and understanding of the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you know shirk and you avoid it, and you know you are on the right path and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the hidayah all the time, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, all the time, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the continuation of the hidayah on you. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your worship. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you steadfast on the learning, on the teaching, on the proper path of Islam. This is the hidayah. This, all of it, that means this is by itself, you have a sound heart, because the one who does not have that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those people, they have sick feeling or sick understanding or a zayg is when you go astray. فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. You're not that, alhamdulillah, so you will have a sound heart. So those people, they are always twisted and having their own information, they have their own interpretation, they follow their own thing. Yani, those people, they will not have a sound heart. So you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for not being one of them. And those people who they made this deviation from the true path, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْفَاسِقِينَ. When those people are twisted or they choose the wrong thing, and by the way, I don't mean to mention any name or talk about anybody, but right now all those people you find on YouTube and you find those, people that are coming up with those weird ideas or weird understanding, or those people they're trying to, they call it, يجدد الخطاب الديني. A lot of people right now, they are calling تجديد الخطاب الديني, to renew, to re-engineer the understanding of Islam. What do you mean re-engineer the understanding of Islam? Islam is fixed. Islam is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and what the Prophet ﷺ said, and what the Sahaba ﷺ have interpreted to us, what Allah and the Prophet, peace be upon him, told us what Islam is. So how could you go back and re-engineer it or reformat it? You cannot. You cannot. Our deen is fixed. Our deen is rigid. Al-haram, like some of the scholars said, al-haram حرام إلى يوم القيامة والحلال حلال إلى يوم القيامة. What is haram? It will always be haram. And what's halal? It will always be halal. And what the Prophet ﷺ legislated, it will be always what the Prophet ﷺ legislated. So what do you want me to change? I cannot change anything. So those people, they're coming up with a new interpretation of the Quran or a new understanding of the Quran. And by the way, you could find all of them on YouTube, nowadays, somebody says this is a new understanding of the Quran. Nobody paid attention to it before. Oh, okay. You know the rest. Okay. Some people said, I don't know which number will this be. The sound heart, the heart does not have locks. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in two places in the Quran, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Don't they reflect, they do not deal, they do not react and interact with the Quran. Or, if they cannot do that, that means they have locks on their hearts. So those scholars said, the hearts that they are locked, they're not a sound heart. So what if those locks? They said those locks could be shahawat or shubuhat. Lust and desire, love of the dunya, love of the position, love for anything beside Islam. This is shahawat. I love to borrow money from the banks to get more money, to get more houses, to get more land, to get more offices, more building, more, This is one of the shahawat. Another person would like to, get in a high position. He can lie and cheat and this and that to get wealth and power. Shahawat. This person will not have a sound heart. Don't misunderstand. There's nothing wrong with you being powerful. There's nothing wrong with you being rich. There's nothing wrong with having, whatever you want in the halal way, in the right way. But having it in the wrong way, this is what we call it, the aqfal or the locks that you have. This is people, they have twisted information. Like those people, they want people to go astray. There's a lot of people, they want people to go astray. They do not want them to have the proper understanding of Islam. Every time they see somebody who's talking about Islam in the proper way, they come up against him, they make him wrong, they make mockery of him, they do whatever they want to do. Why? Because those people, they love, they love the society to be wrong. Those people, they're talking about freedom of the woman. Freedom of a woman from what? A lot of people say, we need the freedom for women. Freedom for women. Freedom from what? Finish the sentence. We're looking for freedom for women. Okay, freedom from what? Please give me the second part of the sentence. Freedom from the Sharia of Allah. Freedom from being obedience to Allah. Freedom from honoring the orders of Allah and the order of the Prophet. Freedom of what? Of what?
Oppression. Oppression.
That's not in the deen. We don't have oppression in the deen. So, we don't have oppression in the deen. But those people who are talking about freedom, they want women without hijab. They want women to go out naked. They want women to go up and do whatever they want to do. Talk to this guy, talk to that guy, having a friend with this guy, or having a friend, to be loose. That's what the freedom they're looking for. And Islam is the one who gave the woman her right. Islam is the one who protects the woman. Islam is the one who made woman in a situation that no one before Islam had given her the right like Islam gave her the right. The United States of America, until 100 years ago, go back to internet and search it, a woman cannot even vote. Here, woman, 1400 years ago, the Prophet ﷺ used to acknowledge her opinion and acknowledge her understanding and her, Here's a girl who came to the Prophet ﷺ. Her father made her marry somebody. She refused. This is the time of the Prophet. The father said, no, you're going to marry that man. You don't know what's right for you, I know what's right for you. She came to the Prophet ﷺ. She said, Ya Rasulullah, my father wants me to marry this man. Am I obligated to marry him? Simple and easy. The Prophet ﷺ said no. No. He rejected the father's order. He gave her her right. No, you're not obligated. That's as simple as that. A father cannot force his daughter to marry anybody. So we're talking about freedom of oppression. Now take this hadith and tell me, where did you find oppression in Islam? Well, Islam gave the right of a woman to divorce herself. You don't like that guy? You divorce him. Here's a lady came to the Prophet ﷺ, said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't want my husband. All of you know the story. And the hadith is authentic. The Prophet ﷺ said, something wrong in his deen. He said, no, Ya Rasulullah, he's a very good religious person. Right? Something wrong with his moral value, akhlaq. She said, no, Ya Rasulullah. Subhanallah. Nothing wrong with his deen. Nothing. Why? Ya Rasulullah, I have other reasons. I have other reasons. And she did not say. Look back to the hadith. She did not tell the Prophet what his problem is. But she told the Prophet that there is a problem. Okay. Would you give him back the dowry he gave you? Yes, Ya Rasulullah. Khalas. He turned to him and said, give her divorce. Where's the oppression here? Islam does not have oppression. As a matter of fact, it's a rule in Islam. Anytime you find oppression, it is not from Islam. ما جعل الله عليكم في الدين من حرج. Surah Hajj. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ما جعل الله عليكم في الدين من حرج. There is no difficulty and there is no hardship in Islam. Even though some of the scholars, when they took this ayah, they said, any hardship you find, question it. Because it is not from Islam. Because that will be negating to the word of Allah. It's the scholars said, anytime you find in some of the rules or some of the fuqaha, they give you a verdict, and there is in it, it feels to you that there is hardship or difficulty or cumbersome or whatever, question it. Because that will negate, that will be against the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. تفضل.
You explained it, Sheikh Abu Najma, just for the sister who said that there's oppression. She's right. See, but the oppression she's talking about probably is not in Islam. Nothing to do with Islam. It's a cultural thing, from our country. So, but you have explained it, Jazakallah.
And this, since you mentioned Jazakallah khair, and I'm sorry to say it, because we are ignorant of Islam, we're getting mixed up between culture and Islam. We live in a society, we grew up in a society that the culture became part of us. And we are Muslims, and we don't have enough information about Islam, so we grew up to believe that the culture is our deen. In fact, culture and deen are two different things. But anyway, this time I'm okay? 9:08. What time do we start?
9:30.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. So now, so the locks, anything that will make you away from Islam, that's locks. The scholar put two words which will be the best to describe those locks. Said locks because of shahawat, and all of you understand shahawat. Or shubuhat, misguidance, misconception, misinformation, misunderstanding, all of this are shubuhat. Somebody will throw shubuhat at you, throw something that will make your mind puzzle or think about it, trying to twist the information. Like the Jews. The Jews in the Medina, they had nothing to do except to play with the mind of the Sahaba. I'm going to tell you one of the shubuhat, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated that in Surah Al-An'am. The Jews came with the Sahaba. They said, it sounds funny that what you kill is halal for you to eat. What Allah kills, it is not halal. Meaning al-mayta. Al-mayta, they call it Allah killed that mayta. So you don't eat that. But what you kill yourself, you eat. The Sahaba thought about this. It is shubha. It is something to make your mind think. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayat of Surah Al-An'am, and He called the Jews in this ayah shayateen. وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَيُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ. The ayah, If you obey them, فَإِنَّكُمْ مِثْلُهُمْ وَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ فَإِنَّكُمْ مِثْلُهُمْ. So don't listen to those people and do not obey them and do not be like them. So they throw shubha. We have a teacher in Oklahoma City, and I said this story before. And in Oklahoma, there is an Islamic school. They hired a Christian lady for math. They couldn't find a Muslim lady for math. So this Christian lady, they found out that the female student in her class, more and more they're taking their scarf off. They didn't understand it. Finally, make the story short, they made the investigation. This lady will tell those students, MashaAllah, you are a good person, you pray, you fast, your parents are good, and this and that. You do a lot of good things. If you take the scarf off, Allah will torture you in hellfire. And He will forget about your salah, your good deed, and this and that. Just because you took this, piece of cloth from your head. Shubuha. So those little kids, I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong. I pray, I fast, I recite Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is nice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafoor Rahim, Ra'ufur Rahim, and all of this beautiful name of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw everything good I did, and He will put me in hellfire just because I took my scarf off. Played with the mind. So one took her scarf, the other one took her scarf, third one took her scarf. Shubuha. Shubuha. This is shubuha. So you will have lock on your heart if you have shubuha. That's why the hadith of Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu, when he said that, the Prophet ﷺ said, تُعْرَضُ الْفِتَنُ عَلى الْقُلُوبِ كَالْحَصِيرِ عُودًا عُودًا. تعرض الفتن. الفتن شبهات. Fitan, shubuhat. So somebody will hear something and start thinking in the wrong way. You might hear somebody call himself Da'iya Islami or Mufakkir Islami. They don't call him Da'iya Islami right nowadays. They call Al-Mufakkir Islami so and so. Al-Mufakkir Islami so and so. He will throw something, make your mind twisted, and then you will follow the wrong path. Wal-'iyadu billah. So those are the hearts, the locks of the heart. And anybody who has locks on his heart will not have a safe heart. Wal-'iyadu billah. And and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a warning by following the orders of Allah, of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and grabbing the sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah An-Nur, ayah number 63, فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ. Those people who they go away from the order of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Doesn't matter, big or small. And Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu said, it does not matter whether it's small sunnah or big sunnah. All the sunnah is a big sunnah. There's nothing called small sunnah. The behavior of the Prophet, the order of the Prophet ﷺ, the system of the Prophet ﷺ, all of it is important. Loving the sunnah by itself is rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Loving the Prophet ﷺ, loving to imitate the Prophet ﷺ, by itself will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave very strong warning. فَلْيَحْذَرْ. Be warned. Have a severe warning. فَلْيَحْذَرْ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ. Those people who will they go astray from the order of the Prophet, or they deviate from the order of the Prophet. فَلْيَحْذَرْ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ أَنْ تُصِيبَهُمْ فِتْنَةٌ أَوْ يُصِيبَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. They will have fitna. The fitna here, that means will put them out of the state of Islam, wal-'iyadu billah. Or they will have severe chastisement from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, severe adabun alim, very painful tortureness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people who they deviate from the order of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, whenever they hear, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said, he said, whenever you hear قال رسول الله, you're supposed to say سمعنا وأطعنا. قال رسول الله. That's it. قال رسول الله. You got the ultimate order. You're supposed to say سمعنا وأطعنا. That's it. So this is it. Now we're going to go back to the ayah number 84 from Surah Al-Saffat. Remember we told you Qalb Salim came twice. 89 of Surah Al-Shu'ara and 84 from Surah Al-Saffat. Surah Al-Saffat, in that ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commended Ibrahim alayhi salam when he said, وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ يعني نوح alayhi salam, وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيم إِذْ جَاءَ رَبَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala complimented him and commended him in the Quran by saying that he came to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. What is the sound heart? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specify Ibrahim alayhi salam that he have a sound heart? And Imam al-Bukhari has a tafsir. It's called الدرر في ترتيب الآيات والسور. And Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, he has that, maybe I made a mistake in the reading of the title, but الدرر في ترتيب or في تفسير الآيات والسور. So he said, in order for you to understand the Quran, this is the theory of Imam al-Bukhari. He based the whole entire tafsir of his tafsir in the Quran according to this particular theory. What is the theory? And Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah said that the sequence of the ayat, why this ayah after this ayah, it means there's another dimension for you to understand. يعني بعد آخر لأندرستاند الآيات والسور بطريقة ترتيبها. Because he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we did not, the Sahaba did not, the Prophet ﷺ did not put the ayat one after one after one after one. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who chose that this ayah is after this ayah. And that's why the hadith of in the Bukhari, that Jibreel alayhi salam, when he used to come with the Quran, he used to tell the Prophet ﷺ, he said, put this ayah after that ayah from surah so and so. So the sequence of the ayat is made by Allah. So Imam Bukhari radiallahu anhu said, since this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means for me to understand, I need to understand the correlation factor of those ayat, the one that came behind each other. So when we come to this ayah 84 of Surah Al-Saffat, he said you need to go back and see what Ibrahim alayhi salam did. Number one, he believed in Allah, the only one and the one, and the creator of all the universe. Secondly, he denounced all the idols. You know, in Surah Al-Anbiya, he told him, you know, that he beat all of them up, إِلَّا كَبِيرَهُمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ إِلَيْهِ يَرْجِعُونَ. You know? So he killed them, he broke them, he fought them. Then, what did he do? He established innocently. إِنَّا بُرَاءُ مِنْكُمْ وَمِمَّا تَعْبُدُونَ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ كَفَرْنَا بِكُمْ. You know, total denunciation. You know, he denounced them. Total, innocence from the kuffar and whatever they believe. So that's what he did. And then he came to the ayah of describing the beautiful thing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me hidayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be taking care of me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I become sick, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ وَإِذَا, وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُنِي وَيَسْقِينِ وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ لِي خَطِيئَتِي يَوْمَ الدِّينِ. All of those, the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَبِّ هَبْ لِي حُكْمًا وَأَلْحِقْنِي بِالصَّالِحِينَ. The dua and the supplication of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said when a person denounces kufr, fight kufr, praise to Allah, depends on Allah, acknowledge the sustenance of Allah, always his heart is with Allah, and making istighfar to Allah, and he is so humble. وَأَلْحِقْنِي بِالصَّالِحِينَ. يعني the Salihin are ahead of me and make me a follower of them. This is so humbling of himself. He is not arrogant. When a person has all of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commended him by saying, إِذْ جَاءَ رَبَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. So the one who has all of those descriptions of Ibrahim alayhi salam will have the sound heart. So this is what they had. Anyway, so this is the subject about, I have not done all of it, but yani alhamdulillah, you have the idea. So, and also the question is, we return to the ayah, if we started from ayah number 89 of Surah Al-Shu'ara, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Qalb salim, sound heart, loving Allah, loving the Prophet, loving the Ummah, loving the Muslims, loving everybody, wishing good for everybody. And don't hurt anybody physically, financially, emotionally. Do not hurt anybody. And the opposite, make everybody happy. Be always have a smile on your face. Be always kind. Be always try to make people happy. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I end up with it. I almost got beaten up for it. I was praying in one of the masajid in Damascus. I was praying there, and after Salatul Jumu'ah, I found a guy. We heard somebody shouting and yelling and cussing and all of this. So, what's wrong? This guy had bought brand new shoes, and he came to Jumu'ah prayer for it, and he put it where the shoes is, and the people, they saw this brand new shoes. Somebody took the shoes and ran away with it. So this guy is so furious and mad, which is the right though. But anyway, so I waited, and he's still there, hoping that somebody will find it or somebody misplaced it. So he was there, and people were walking out. I was trying, to please him a little bit. So I came to him and I said, "Can I tell you a story?" He said, he said, "Get away from me. We're trying to do right now." I said, "I want to tell you a little story." He said, "Will your little story bring me back my shoes?" I said, "No." He said, "Then shut up and go away." I said, "Brother, wallahi, I don't mean anything. I just want you to be happy." Finally, he gave up on me, and his shoes is lost. People are walking out. He said, "What's your story?" I said, "Listen, Abdullah Mas'ud, one time, they stole his shoes." He said, "Abdullah Mas'ud al-Sahabi stole his shoes." I said, "Wallahi, this is the story." It was reported that Abdullah Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, somebody in one of the masajid stole his shoes. He said, "How could be?" I said, "Brother, wallahi, if I find the shoes of Abdullah Mas'ud, I'll steal it myself, what's wrong with that?" But anyway, and they told, when he found out that his shoes was stolen, he lifted up his hand and he said, "Allahumma." People was thinking that he was going to curse and make dua against that person. But Abdullah Mas'ud said, "Allahumma اغفر له وارحمه." The person who stole my shoe, forgive him and shower him with mercy and make my shoes comfortable in his feet. And Ya Rab, make him repent to you where my shoes will be the last shoes he will ever steal. Okay? So he made that dua. So why don't you make that dua? The guy was so mad, unbelievably mad. But anyway, I was successful to put a smile on his face. And I said, just say subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maybe will replace you with better. And to cuss him is not going to do you no good. You will lose your good deed. But if you make dua for him, and this is the intelligence of Abdullah Mas'ud, his shoes is not coming back. So why don't you get the benefit? Rather than curse the guy, get the benefit. Make dua for him. So this is the sound heart. I take it as the sound heart. When even though some people made mistakes with you, but have a sound heart. Have merciful heart, to forgive them and to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the forgiveness of ourselves and all of you. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيكم وغفر الله لنا ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.